Question, tell me what you think about me. I buy my own diamonds and I buy my own rings.
Hey guys, welcome. I am excited to have another show here with you guys, and I am super excited to have the guest that we have today. She not only is a dominant female, but she is a senior executive vice chairman for World Financial Group, one of the biggest financial groups here in the world. And what better person to have her give us some advice on financial literacy, but most importantly, what motivates me about this person is that she truly is the epitome of what a successful woman really is. And what I mean by successful, not just on the business aspect. I mean, she's a well-rounded woman when it comes to being a mother, a business person, and a wife. And that takes a lot to handle. So I'd like to introduce Miss Angelica Haro. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I know we had previously talked and you wanted me to share a little bit about my story and some financial literacy and why I think it's important. So that your audience knows, I also have a real estate and mortgage background. So prior to becoming a financial advisor full time, I used to do mortgages and real estate. And the truth is, I got into this industry because I saw a big need. I
Indeed.
come from a really big family. There's 11 of us. My mom and dad
Wow.
migrated from Mexico, chasing the American dream. And I will tell you that when I first got introduced to this business, I sat down and I watched a presentation and I'm thinking like, my goodness, no Merrill Lynch, no Dean Witter, no Charles Schwab, none of these financial service companies ever came knocking at my dad's door, because they target, the wealthy, the ultra wealthy, the rich and wealthy.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we didn't grow up wealthy. So when I saw the presentation and I started reading into the company and what is it that they did and who they serviced, I fell in love with it. I said, like, there's so many families out there, especially middle income families that need the financial education that we
Indeed.
offer. And so having the mortgage background, I used to think to myself, well, because I started doing it part time. I started doing this business part time while I was still trying to do real estate and mortgages, and then eventually I transitioned to do it full time. But I used to think to myself, I'm already helping an individual, a family, achieve one of their first financial goals, and that is buying a home.
Right. And one of the biggest steps that they'll ever take in their life. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And so when you're taking part of that, well, you want to make sure that they're able to continue to live this dream, that they've always had by being able to have that home. And so one of the big products that we offer is life insurance. And so when I got introduced into the business, I started thinking like, man, all my clients, need life insurance, because I started thinking my parents never had life insurance. People around me never had life insurance, nor did they have the financial products that our company offered. But if I'm over here helping a family achieve this financial goal, and we understand that it takes two incomes most of the time to qualify,
Yes.
this dream home or for their first purchase, or to become a homeowners. And I started thinking, like, what if one of the breadwinners passes away? Is this family going to still be able to continue to live this dream life? And I said, like, no. And so that's what kind of like, started ringing the bell inside of me. I'm like, oh my God, I can totally do this. I can offer this to all my clients and, all the, people out there that don't have life insurance. I can do it. And then obviously there's way more beyond just the life insurance. And
Yes.
so I started thinking like, I went to school. I was very fortunate. Out of all my siblings, I was one of the only ones that went to college. And I took finance classes, I took business classes, I took economic classes, and I learned some concepts, but none of the concepts that I was really going to use in real life, to be honest with you. I
Right.
came here and I started getting the financial education that I had never gotten anywhere else. I started learning, the impact of interest and how it works and what it means to grow your money. I think most of us are raised, and you would agree with me, Joanna, that most of us are raised to go save money in the bank, right? If you have any
Yes.
money, you're going to go save it in the bank. But when I learned how the rule of 72 worked, which is a law of compounding interest, right? You take the percentage that you earn and you divide it by 72, and that's going to tell you how many years your money's going to double. And I'm thinking, okay, well, they use the example of 1%. When we know banks don't pay 1%, but they use
No.
example of 1%. And so, a real simple example of this, somebody is 29 years old and they have $10,000 and they go save it in the bank and they don't touch it until it doubles. Well, the reality is they're going to be waiting a long
Long time.
72 years, because you divide 72 into by one, at 72 years before that money doubles. And I started thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, people need to be educated on how interest works. And it also applies to
Right.
debt. So if you have credit card debt and you're paying a 15%, well, you divide that by 72 and it's going to tell you how many years it's going to take for your debt to double. So I got
Incredible.
into the industry, Joanna, and I started falling in love on the education side and being able to offer people financial advice, you know, that they typically don't get out there. Most
Mhm.
people out there, live paycheck to paycheck. And if they're able to save money, they go save it in the bank. And the reality is, the bank is not for you to build wealth.
Indeed.
And so I started taking that to heart. I'm like, man, I can start educating, the community on, at first it was just the life insurance side of it, and then
Right.
it was just, the education side and how much education is not out there for individuals that, don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to invest. But everybody needs to start somewhere. And that's what I love, and that's why I got into the business. And as you know, Joanna, I love empowering other individuals. And I think it's so important, and not only females, but just everybody in general. It's so important that you learn, money concepts. My husband always says, money's a game. If you learn how to play it, you're gonna win. If you
Right.
don't learn how to play it, you're gonna lose at it. Okay. I have kids, and my kids are constantly wanting me to play board games with them. And they're new board games, like Monopoly. Yeah, I know the rules. But some of them, so if I don't learn the rules of how to play this game, I'm not going to win. I'm going to lose. The chances of me winning are going to be very, very slim, right?
Right.
But if I learn the rules of how to play that game, then I have a good chance of winning. Well, it's the same thing with money. If you learn, just simple concepts, understand how money grows, understand how money gets taxed, understand different financial products. I host different events, and a lot of them are women empowerment events, but some of them are just, families, young families or families that just need this education. And I said, listen, you got to learn how money works. You got to learn at least, if you're a household, even if there's one breadwinner, let's just say the husband's a breadwinner, the wife stays at home, or vice versa. Okay. The person that stays at home should at least learn simple financial concepts. You got to know what comes in and what goes out. God forbid, the day something happens to that individual, you want to make sure that you can continue to run your households. You know?
Yes. And you're touching on a very good point, Angelica, because obviously I see it all the time. Families that come to me that I know the breadwinner passes away and they don't know what to do with their property. And that's the biggest issue that we see, happen nowadays. And that's why I felt you were such a great person to have and educate us on this because, like you and I, we're minorities. We're first generation here. And the habits that were instilled in our parents that kind of lingered on to us, obviously growing up, were the same principles and concepts you touched on, saving money in the bank or under the mattress, right? And I still get people that are doing that. And it's so important to educate them, like you said, on the concepts of money.
Yeah, it is. And these are simple concepts. Even learning how to balance a check. Okay, because God forbid something does happen to the breadwinner or something happens to the other person or the person that's involved in balancing the check. You got to learn how to balance a check. What
Yeah.
if you're, and I use this example. Thank God, I have an amazing husband. I've been married for almost 12 years. This weekend will be our 12-year anniversary.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, exciting. And we do our business together, but I always tell, when I host these events for women, okay, I say, listen, it's so important that you learn these simple concepts, learn how money grows, learn how interest applies to growing your money and, growing your debt. Know what money comes in, what money goes out, how to balance a checkbook, just these simple concepts, because God forbid, maybe you're in an abusive relationship and you feel that you can't leave because you can't stand on your own 2 feet. Well, don't
Hmm.
ever let that hold you back because you feel that you don't know, money concepts. Or God forbid, what if your husband passes away? Or what if you get divorced? We live in California.
Yeah. And that
Divorce
happens a
rates
lot.
but, or what if you're a young family, and what something happens to the breadwinner or something happens to the other individual? It's just
Right.
so important to be aware of just simple financial concepts, know how life insurance works and the importance of life insurance, if you have kids, saving money for their college education, emergency funds. There's just different products out there and retirement. Hey, we are all going to retire one day. Okay.
Indeed.
It is important that you know how to save money for retirement, what's out there, and I see clients all the time, Joanna, and I ask, do you want to retire one day? Absolutely. Okay, so why aren't you doing anything about it? Right now, when you're young and you're still able to work and you have the energy, start saving money. And it doesn't matter if it's $10. It's all what counts is the habit. Okay. If you start saving $10, well, you build that habit. Then you start saving 50 and then 100. And then you move it
Mm-hmm.
up and you move it up and you move it up. But they're habits that you need to build because
Exactly.
I sit down with families and I say, listen, you guys need to start saving for your future, for your retirement years. They're like, oh, we can't, let's just say you sit down with somebody who's in their early 20s. I don't, I'm going to go to college. Okay. Then you sit down with them when they're in college. Oh, I just met my sweetheart. We're going to get married. We're saving for a wedding. Then you sit down with them when they're in their mid 30s and they're getting married. Oh, no, we're going to save money for a house, right?
Yes.
Oh, we can't. Oh, no, then we have to save money for our kids' college education. Oh, then we have to save money for our kids' wedding. Oh, we're 65 years old. Oh, we never save money,
Yeah.
you know? So
Indeed.
I always instill into people that you need to start saving now when you do not need it. And a little amount goes a long way as long as you build that habit and you continue to review your finances every single year.
And I'm glad you're touching on that it's a little investment at a time, because oftentimes people think, like you talk about savings, life insurance, they think, oh, it's hundreds of dollars, I'm barely making ends meet, and it's, I can't make it happen. But like you say, habits and discipline.
Absolutely. And you just touched on life insurance because life insurance is just one of the products that we offer, right? We can offer different savings plans, different investment plans, college education plans. But in regards to life insurance and then also retirement, but in regards to life insurance, many people think it's too expensive. Let's just say, Joanna, that you have a client and maybe they don't have a lot of extra money to spare. Okay. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I would say to that individual. Listen, you don't have a lot of money to spare right now and you're surviving on both of your guys' incomes.
Right.
God forbid something happens to either one of you guys. How much harder do you think it's going to be if you do not have a life insurance in place that will help you replace that person's income? You
Yeah.
know, as people say, like, I can't afford it. No, you can't afford not to have it. And there's life insurance policies that you
Agree.
can get for like $25 a month. They're very inexpensive. And I think everybody can have $25, but that's why we sit down with people and we help them manage their expenses. We do a budget with them. And it's just important. If you want to get ahead in life, then you need to make some change in your life. If you're not saving money, don't think you're going to get ahead in life. That's the
Indeed.
reality. We're all going to
Yeah.
retire one day. And if you think Social Security is going to be enough, ask my dad. And my dad is receiving Social Security. In 20 years, Social Security is not going to even probably be around.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
right.
Another concept that I would tell you to really understand is how taxes work. There's different investments out there that tax your money right now. Some of them tax them later. Some of them don't ever tax you. So just get financially educated in these areas that are so important for your future.
Indeed. Thank you so much for sharing that, Angelica. And let me ask you, for someone who is obviously listening to this and feeling, listening to you and feeling like there's hope, right? Because obviously there is. What would be your advice for someone who wants to get on that road to start saving to ultimately buy their first home? What would be your recommendation to them?
Well, first, I would say that find a financial advisor. There's a lot of financial advisors that don't charge. Like our company is Rose Financial Group, right? Our broker dealer is Transamerica Financial Advisors. We have thousands of agents, my husband and I, throughout the U.S. You can always reach out to one of us. But Rose Financial Group itself has many, financial associates that can help you and guide you on where to start saving. And even if you don't have anybody, I'm telling you, go to the bank, open up a Bank of America account, whoever it is that you bank with, start saving $100 every single paycheck, $10 every single paycheck. And then 3 months later, up it. 3 months later, up it and up it. Because believe it or not, you think like, oh, well, $100. And then if you up it $25, you're not going to feel the difference. That's it.
Right.
Then you start 125. The reality is you got to figure out what's important. Okay. Is you purchasing this home for you and your family? Is that more important than getting all the channels on cable?
Right.
You just got to learn what are your priorities. Is cable at your home with all the sports channel and all that more important, or is saving for a home for your family in the future more important? There's a lot of expenses that we do on a daily basis that you don't realize. It's all these subscriptions that you subscribe to that you don't even realize. um, Take a piece of paper, go down your credit card, go down your bank statement, write down every single expense, and then weigh it out. Do I really need this or do I want this? Do I really need this or do I want this? Like food, you need it,
Of course, that's a necessity. We need that.
But do you really need, cable? Do you really need Netflix? Do you really need Starbucks? Or can you make your own Starbucks? There's sacrifices that you have to make in order to move ahead in life. That's
Yes,
the honest truth.
very well said.
Yeah, there you have to sacrifice somewhere. If you're living on a certain budget because you get a paycheck, right?
Of
And you
course.
know what your paycheck is every 2 weeks. Okay, learn how to manage it. The rich and wealthy, I would tell you, if they want to reach their goals and dreams, what they do is they pay themselves first. Okay. Themselves, meaning my family, my kids. If I was in the market to try and save money for a house, well, that I'm going to save money. Let's just say I get $2,000. I have a budget of $2,000. Out of that $2,000, I'm going to save 10%. So I'm going to put away $200. I'm pretend I didn't even get that. And then everything else comes. Then the mortgage comes, then this bill comes, then the cell phone, then the insurance, then everything else. But pay yourself first. Aren't you and your family more important than everything else? But most people in America pay this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill, this expense, this expense, this expense. Then they save money for them and their family.
They do it backwards. And you're right. That's definitely not the way to do it. Wow. Well, you've definitely shared so much great information with us, Angelica. I think just with the tips you gave, I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of our audience. And I hope that, they've been able to take away some valuable information with your advice. Now, if anyone wants to get a hold of you or reach out to you, maybe just to do like an initial, consultation, does that cost them anything, or what
No,
would be the first step they can take?
that's what I love about our company is that there's no broker fee. There's no fee for you to sit down with us and give you financial advice. If we do a good job, then you can just refer people over to us.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So they can reach out to me on social media. My Instagram page is at Angelica WFG, which Angelica is Angelica WFG.
We'll have it at the bottom of the screen also.
They can also call my office and speak to me, and I can either help them out or sit them down with, one of my agents. We have agents in every single state. And what's so awesome about technology, as you can see right now,
Yes.
is that everything can be done on Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you live.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. There's no excuse. Where there's a will, there is a way. And if you are questioning or wanting to do something or just have doubts about how to get yourself on the right path to the right financial literacy, Angelica is a great resource, and feel free to reach out to her or myself and I can connect you with her. But thank you so much, Angelica. I appreciate the time. I know you're a busy, busy woman. So truly grateful for you taking time out of your busy day to be with us today.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.